Watching Idaho's News Channel 7. This is the News at 6.
These survivors carry the responsibility of ensuring that the voices of these children, Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan, are never forgotten, and the positive impacts that they have had on so many lives are never minimized, and that the love they shared, the light that they shined onto others, is forever celebrated.
Today, the state of Idaho and nation is remembering 4 bright young people after a judge sentenced Bryan Kohberger to life in prison for their murders. Thanks for joining us. I'm Hunter Funk. It was an emotional day at the Ada County Courthouse where families and roommates read victim impact statements. We start with team coverage tonight. Andrea Dearden is in studio with what investigators shared after the sentencing. Abby Davis is live at the Ada County Courthouse with statements from Kaylee Gonsalves and Maddie Mogen's families. But first, we start with Morgan Romero, who was in court throughout the sentencing. Morgan, we heard from 16 different people in court today, all of them sharing powerful, heartfelt messages and statements. But you also heard from one of the families outside of the courtroom setting.
Yeah, Hunter, I did. I sat down with Xana Kernodle's mom, Kara Northington, and she did give a victim impact statement in court today, flanked by her 2 brothers as she stood at the podium. Kara feels relieved, glad that this is all over. She's glad she doesn't have to look at Bryan Kohberger again. She's come to terms with the plea deal, saying it gives her a sense of closure. She tells me she forgave Kohberger a while ago, and she's grateful she and her family do not have to be subjected to 3 months of a grueling trial. Kara made sure to look Kohberger in the eyes, and she saw nothing behind them as he sat emotionless, without any reaction or remorse. It's hard not to get answers or hear an explanation, but Kara feels they would never be able to believe Kohberger, even if he were to explain his actions that day.
I think that we will know what we should know if God wants us to know it. And I really don't see that man ever giving us too much information that we can find any peace with. So I know that there's some things coming out soon that will probably rock our worlds a little bit now that this is all over. So I just pray for peace for everybody and for healing, because hopefully now everybody can heal now that they got all of that off of their chest, and he's gone away. He's going to be locked up forever. I pray for peace and healing for every single one of the families.
Kara says she's proud of everyone who spoke in court, especially her other daughter, Jasmine, and Xana's father and stepfather, who also shared very powerful, raw, vulnerable statements. We also heard victim impact statements from the other 2 girls who lived at 1122 King Road and were home at the time of the murders. A close friend started the hearing by reading an emotional statement on behalf of Bethany Funk, and through sobs, Dylan Mortensen shared all Bryan Kohberger took from her that day.
People call me strong. They say I'm a survivor, but they don't see what my new reality looks like. They don't see the panic attacks, the hypervigilance, the exhaustion, the way I scan every room I enter, the way I flinch at sudden sounds. They don't know how heavy it is to carry so much pain and still be expected to keep going, and that's because of him. He stole parts of me I may never get back. He took the version of me who didn't constantly ask, what if it happens again? What if next time I don't survive?
That is
Raw.
Yeah, that's really gut-wrenching. Dylan said while he tried to take everything from her, she says that he cannot take her voice or her ability to find justice for her friends through this process, Hunter.
A community that's supposed to be really safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Morgan.
You bet.
Well, in addition to the victim impact statements, the state made its final argument. Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson asked Judge Hippler to make Kohberger serve 4 consecutive life sentences for the murders.
That the court sentenced the defendant to fixed life for the murder of Maddie Mogen. On count 3, that the court sentenced the defendant to fixed life for the murder of Kaylee Gonsalves. On count 4, that the court sentence the defendant to fixed life for the murder of Xana Kernodle. On count 5, that the court sentenced the defendant to fixed life for the murder of Ethan Chapin. And the state further prays that these sentences be ordered to run consecutively, back to back, not at the same time, to recognize and respect the unique individuality of each of these beautiful young people whose lives were taken brutally and for no reason.
Family members of Kaylee and Maddie also read their victim impact statements out loud. Abby Davis joins us live from the courthouse with those details. Abby.
Yeah, I'm going to start with Maddie's family. We heard from her stepdad, mom, grandma, as well as biological dad in a truly heart-wrenching moment. He explained his past battle with addiction, saying when he did not want to live anymore, it was Maddie who gave him the will to keep going.
Maddie was my only child that I ever had. She's the only great thing I ever really did, and the only thing I was really ever proud of. And I thought we would have the rest of our lives together.
She was taken along with the young, promising, and bright lives of Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. First, we felt disbelief. Next, we felt disorientation. Then we felt grief overcome us. Our grief is compounded even more for the Goncalves, Kernodle, and Chapin families. We speak of hope and healing, and we do have hope and some healing. But the vast emotional wound will never fully heal.
Today was not just a day of tears, but also anger. While they did not say his name, Kaylee Gonzalez's mom, dad, and sister did not mince words, talking about the man who killed their loved one. Kaylee's dad, Steve, even turned the podium to look directly at Kohberger.
Today we are here to prove to the world that you picked the wrong families. The wrong state, the wrong police officers, the wrong community. You tried to break our community apart. You tried to plant fear. You tried to divide us. You failed. Instead, your actions have united everyone in their disgust for you.
I won't stand here and give you what you want. I won't offer you tears. I won't offer you trembling. Disappointments like you thrive on pain, on fear, and on the illusion of power. And I won't feed your beast. Instead, I will call you what you are: sociopath, psychopath, murderer.
Some very strong words there. The only family we did not hear from today was the Chapins. They did come to the change of plea hearing earlier this month, though, and I did want to mention that Judge Hippler validated how each family may or may not be feeling about these murders, about this plea deal, saying that there is no wrong way to grieve. Back to you.
And with this case now officially over, the gag order is lifted, so police and prosecutors were able to address some of the questions that were raised by people who care about this case. Andrea Dearden is here with more on what they shared.
Well, Andrea, it is no secret, and Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson knows that not everyone understands or agrees with his decision to avoid trial and a possible death sentence for Kohberger. But he said today he stands behind the plea agreement, saying it was the best option for justice, and one that he did not take lightly. In fact, he showed that today, fighting back tears several times throughout the proceedings and again during that press conference. Also speaking today, city, state, and federal officers from multiple agencies in Idaho And they told us that here at home and then also in Pennsylvania, officers worked together to piece this case together. The evidence, they said, was extensive. Phone records, DNA, computer data, surveillance video. But despite having overwhelming evidence connecting Kohberger to the murders, police say there are still unknowns even they struggle to accept. Police say a small K-bar knife was the only weapon used to kill all 4 victims, but that knife has never been found, despite many searches. And what about the reason Kohberger chose the house on King Road?
I think that's something that we need, that you want, is to help to understand this and say, well, what's the connection? What was the link? And so we had every resource possible, and we worked that tirelessly, both from everything from his side, but all the victims and all the members of the house from their side. So we have never, to this date, found a single connection between him and any of the 4 victims or the 2 surviving roommates.
Now, late this afternoon, documents connected to the case were released by Moscow Police Department. That'll give us more details about the investigation, and we will have more on that for you tonight on the News at 10.
Yeah, a lot to dig into there. Thank you, Andrea. Well, the University of Idaho says the 4 victims will live in the community's collective memory. Now, the university shared on social media that the sentencing brings some sense of justice to the Vandal family, saying in part, quote, "We remember the families and friends, surviving roommates, and all those deeply impacted by the sinister actions of one person. We hope healing can come with time," end quote. The Moscow police chief says he's proud of the work from officers in this case, saying in part, quote, "Our community showed strength and resolve, and we hope the conclusion of this case provides some measure of peace for the families and the city of Moscow," end quote. Now, Governor Brad Little also responded to the sentencing today. He says the tragic deaths of Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan broke the heart of Idaho. Governor Little encouraged Idahoans to unite in healing, love, and support for the families, and thank community members for their strength. You can watch the full sentencing and our coverage now at ktvb.com.